Attachments none. Papers have been laid. Question.
Honourable Member, the table had been advised that PQ B 1076 will be replied by the Honourable Minister of Blue Economy, Marine Resources, Fisheries and Shipping. PQ B 1111 will be replied by the Honourable Prime Minister, time permitting. Honourable Ganga Prasad.
B 1073.
Mr. Speaker, sir, according to Section 46(1) GA of the Information and Communication Technologies Act 2021, it is an offence if a person, and I quote, uses a telecommunication equipment, an information and communication service, a telecommunication service or information and communication technologies to send, transmit, transfer, post, publish, deliver, show, or otherwise communicates by means of the telecommunication equipment a message which is obscene, indecent, offensive, abusive, threatening, menacing, false, or misleading, which is likely to cause or causes harm to a person, unquote. In the light of this provision, it is an offence to use any telecommunication device to post on the social media in the form of speech, data, text, writings, images, signs, signals, or code, or a combination of forms which are obscene, indecent, offensive, abusive, threatening, menacing, false, or misleading in nature, and which are likely to cause harm to any person. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed that the types of cases include using telecommunications equipment to cause annoyance, humiliation, inconvenience, distress, or anxiety to any person, to impersonate another person, and for the transmission of messages which are of a nature likely to endanger or compromise state defense, public safety, or public order. Any person who commits an offense under the ICT Act shall, on conviction, be liable to a fine not exceeding 1 million rupees and to penal servitude for a term not exceeding 10 years. Provisional charges are usually determined following the outcome of police investigations. In the conduct of the inquiries, the police takes into consideration the language used, the age and characteristics of the alleged victim, whether the message was anonymous, the extent of circulation of the message, the context in which the message appeared, amongst others. Mr. Speaker, sir, social media, which comprises internet-based applications, has seen an unprecedented growth during the last decade and has taken a prominent place in the lives of people, mostly because of easy accessibility to internet and smartphones. There has been a marked rise in usage of social media platforms such as Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, WhatsApp, and Instagram. Although digital technology has democratized the public sphere, unfortunately, some people are making an abuse and misuse thereof, causing prejudice to other persons. In fact, today, social media platforms are increasingly being used as a means for settling scores, spreading false news and hatred speech, character assassination, extortion, illegal betting, stirring social and racial unrest, attacking the integrity of persons, and fraud. Mr. Speaker, sir, not only our country, but also other countries are struggling to find ways and means to control and minimize the use, the misuse, and abuse of social media. For instance, in the European Union, the Council of the European Union has, in July 2022, adopted the Digital Services Act and the Digital Markets Act, which aim at creating a safer digital space in which the fundamental rights of users of digital services are protected through the imposition of risk assessments and sanctions, whereby there is no prompt response from social media companies to social media threats. And this is also due to the absence of these companies locally. Mr. Speaker, sir, to be in line with international trends regarding safer digital space, in Mauritius, the Computer Misuse and Cybercrime Act 2003 was repealed in 2021 and replaced by the Cybersecurity and Cybercrime Act, in line with the Budapest Convention on Cybercrime. This convention is the first international treaty on crimes committed via the Internet and other computer networks, dealing particularly with infringements of copyright, computer-related fraud, child pornography, and violations of network security. It also contains a series of powers and procedures, such as the search of computer networks and interception. Its main objective is to pursue a common criminal policy aimed at the protection of society against cybercrime, especially by adopting appropriate legislation and fostering international cooperation. The Cybersecurity and Cybercrime Act 2021 provides, amongst others, for offenses such as cyberbullying, computer-related forgery, and misuse of fake profile. Under this act, undesirable content includes any online content that is deceptive or inaccurate, posted with intent to defame, threaten, abuse, or mislead the public, threatens public health or public safety, threatens national security, and promotes racism. Mr. Speaker, sir, moreover, the Computer Emergency Response Team, Mauritius, CERT-MU, was set up in 2008 under the aegis of the National Computer Board to provide information and assistance to organizations in implementing proactive measures to reduce the risks of information security incidents, as well as responding to such incidents as and when they occur. The CERT-MU, which now falls directly under the purview of the Ministry of Information Technology, Communication and Innovation, operates the Mauritian Cybercrime Online Reporting System, MOCOS, which is the national online system that allows the public to securely report cybercrimes occurring on social media. It is a centralized cyber incident reporting system that connects the CERT-MU, the Cybercrime Unit of the Mauritius Police Force, the Data Protection Office, and the Information Communication Technologies Authority. It provides advice in recognizing and avoiding common types of cybercrime which take place on social media websites. I am informed that complaints regarding illegal and offensive contents are reported to the police, either directly or through the MOCOS. On the basis of the information received, the police decides whether to open case files and conduct further investigations. In addition, the Ministry of Information Technology, Communication and Innovation had a meeting with representatives of Facebook in July 2021 to discuss on incident escalation and resolution. Following the meeting, a two-day sensitization workshop was held by Facebook, Meta, involving stakeholders from the public and private sector. Following a request from Mauritius to Facebook, the latter has recruited personnel from the Mauritian diaspora to look into the content, especially in Creole. A similar request has been made to TikTok recently, and a reply is awaited. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed by the Commissioner of Police that since January 2015 to date, 1,308 cases of illegal comments and posts on the social media have been reported to the police. Out of these cases, 47 persons have been provisionally charged and arrested in relation to 42 cases. The nature of these comments and posts were mostly offensive language, racial hatred, sextortion, threats, blackmailing, character assassination, fake profile, false information, and endangering public order. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. May I ask the Honorable Prime Minister, why further to the different police complaints filed by 3 journalists of Le Défi Media Group and the Managing Director of Top FM on 10th November 2022 regarding online harassment linking them to drug trafficking by people close to the MSM, like the Sun TV? No arrest or identification of these individuals have been carried out so far.
Well, first of all, let me say that Sun TV is not close to the MSM. It is not.
Order.
It is not. Well, you think any key is close to the Labour Party? Anywhere you put a key, it's close to the Labour Party.
Order.
So I would say that Sun TV News, as I say, has nothing to do with the MSM, right? Now, yes, I am informed that there was an article under caption, urgent, very serious news, and so on. Now, on the same day, Mr. A.R.A., the Director of Public Prosecutions, had phoned and insisted the police to call at his place at residence, Triano, and register his complaint in connection with the aforementioned article. An officer from the cybercrime unit of the Central Criminal Investigation Department proceeded to his place. A statement was taken, and I am informed, well, the statement relates to what was posted, and as such, he requested the police to initiate an inquiry. An inquiry on his behalf was opened in the occurrence book. I don't need to give all the references. The inquiry into the matter was immediately initiated, and the extract of the post was captured for the purpose of inquiry. And on Sunday, 26th of February 2023, the Mauritius Police Force made a request to the Computer Emergency Response Team of Mauritius to remove a derogatory post from the Facebook page of Sun TV News. This complaint was escalated to Facebook on the same day for removal of the defamatory content, and further cyber patrols on other social media platforms were carried out by the police in order to look for similar articles. Subsequently, after 3 days, it was observed that the Facebook page with profile name Sun TV News has been deactivated and the said post has been removed. The reported content is no longer available, and so far the author of the article is unknown, but the inquiry is in progress. Yes, the inquiry is still in progress.
Ask the Honorable Prime Minister, because there is a general perception whether these provisional charges, especially when they are used against political opponents, they are used as a political, what we call arm or tool, to squash political opponents' activism and activities, Because often these charges are struck out by the court of law.
Well, why you say these charges are struck out by the court of law? How many charges are struck out? Do you have statistics? Do you know?
Few examples.
No, examples, but when you say most of the charges are struck out, there are cases where some people have been convicted. I think I have figures, but Mr. Speaker, sir, well, let me say generally, anyone who posts any comment or any of their own views on the social media, they have to assume their responsibility. Now, if they go against the law, or if it is defamatory, of course, people who are subject or who are being victimized, they have to report either the matter to the police or to MOCOs through online reporting, or if through Cyber Patrol the police ever comes on any post that they believe is going against the law, they will take action. Now, I've been provided with some information, that is status of cases for period 2015 to 2023. So the status of 42 cases were filed and no further action free, sent to DPP for advice 7, caution administered 4. Caution administered means that they have been found to be at fault, but the sentence is to give a caution. Convicted and fined 6, pending trial in court 5, and still under inquiry 17.
Thank
you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Is the Honorable Prime Minister aware of a recent post on the social media where a media reporter, Mr. A.K.R. Sahab, uttered some words of vulgar nature while reporting on proceedings held at the Privy Council, and whether any action is envisaged in that case? Thank you.
Well, Mr. Speaker, sir, yes. I think all of us are aware of this post where that media reporter, Mr. A.K.R., not only uttered words of vulgar nature, but also made vile accusations while reporting on proceedings held at the Privy Council. In his live intervention posted at around 2000 hours on Monday, 10th of July 2023, the media reporter A.K.R. stated, and I quote, Section 64 de la Representation of the People Act. C'est un argument en substance qui Timothy Straker, devant ban lolo sin faire, représentant légal sur un dial soutenir qui sa ban reproche là li constituer ban acte de corruption, ban acte coquin, casse L. I can't say that, Mr. Speaker, sir. Unquote. That media reporter dared to utter casse L after act coquin, which is filthy and altogether shocking coming from a media person. As regards to the other part of the question, I'm informed by the Commissioner of Police that an inquiry has been instituted into the matter following Cyber Patrol.
Over to
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, can the Honourable Prime Minister inform the House as to the number of cases reported on MOCOs since its creation?
Yeah. I should be having... Well, I don't have the numbers. If I can be, yeah. So cases reported on MOCOs, so 1,366 cases of illegal and offensive content have been reported on MOCOs from March 2018 till date. And these illegal contents are classified under the following categories: content instructing or promoting crime or violence, content promoting racism, hate speech and criticism, sexually explicit content, and footage of real violence or accidents from video clips, games or films.
Mahmoud.
Thank you, Speaker. Can the Honorable Prime Minister inform the House as to the outcome of the complaint made to the police by the Minister of Health and Wellness against a post on social media dated 27 February 2020, where foul wording were used against him?
Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm informed that in this case, the accused was prosecuted and upon pleading guilty in the court, he was fined 10,000 rupees and had also to make for cost about 500 rupees.
Roy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, in his answer, the Honourable Prime Minister mentioned about CERTMU, also 42 cases which were reported. Can the Honourable Prime Minister inform the House as to whether there has been any kind of sensitization campaign with regard to the illegal post ongoing on the social media?
Mr. Speaker, sir, the Police Cybercrime Unit of the Central Criminal Investigation Department, which is the main body of the Mauritius Police Force, investigating into cases related to such breaches with regard to Information and Communication Technologies Act and of Cybercrime and Cybersecurity Act, also conducts regular sensitization for the general public with regard to safety and proper use of electronic devices, the internet and social media.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Can we know from the Honourable Prime Minister whether with regards to cybercrime, whether there will be another department that will be created to empower with regards to how social media is being misused, and we are having so many complaints, whether there will be an empowerment with regards to this department?
Well, Mr. Speaker, sir, what I can say is that with the advance of technology, and unfortunately, I must say, we're making a lot of progress, and on a number of occasions, it's very difficult to be able to trace those perpetrators because their platform is not within the control of the authorities here. And as we know, the policy with regard to those platforms, they themselves, they leave it for like free expression for anybody to publish anything on their platform, except then when it is reported to them, and even when it is reported to them, depends on whether they decide to remove any such post. So what we are doing is providing capacity building, giving more training for our people, and I believe that this is the measure that has to be ongoing, because in the light of development of technology.
Speaker, sir. May I ask the Honourable Prime Minister, because we are talking about freedom of expression, human rights, why, when political opponents are arrested, then unnecessary humiliation, inhuman conditions are meted out to these political opponents? We suggest that same treatment...
You already stated your question.
Yes, well, Mr. Speaker, sir, as I say, it doesn't concern political people, it concerns everybody, anybody. And as I have a list of cases here, Mr. Speaker, sir, because the Honourable Member asked from 2015 to date, there are people who are not connected, well, I believe who are not known politicians, I would say, and who have been subjected to, I must say, all sorts of accusations, all sorts of allegations, and they have reported cases to the police on MOCOS, and inquiry has been initiated in all these cases. And as I say, ultimately, if the offenders are able to be identified, and if there is a case, then they will be taken before a court of law.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. In his reply earlier, the Prime Minister mentioned on the increasing misuse of social media. Can the Honourable Prime Minister thus provide us information on where exactly a complaint regarding illegal posts or comments can be registered? Thank you.
Well, the complaint can be registered directly to the police, first of all, or it can be registered on MOCOS. As I say, it's an online facility for anyone without having to come physically to the authority to report a case by, of course, providing all the necessary information. And it can be reported also to ICTA. ICTA also has a way of then providing all the information to the police eventually for investigation.
Le Premier ministre peut-il dire à la Chambre, est-ce qu'il a soulevé la question avec le commissaire de police concernant la question de l'honorable Ganga Prasad, quand les 3 journalistes de Radio Plus et Top FM ont donné leur déposition, ça fait presque une année, rien n'a été fait, et dans le cas du Premier ministre qui a donné une déposition, et le lendemain, une internaute, pour une blague, a été arrêté. Est-ce que cette question a été soulevée avec le Premier ministre concernant cette politique de 2 points de mesure? Le Premier ministre, le lendemain, et les journalistes, une année après.
Monsieur le Président, je crois que l'honorable membre n'écoute pas quand je réponds à une question. Son collègue, l'honorable Ganga Prasad, qui a posé la question concernant cette publication concernant Sun TV. J'ai pris le temps de la Chambre pour donner les détails. Qu'est-ce que la police a fait? Il n'écoute pas. Et il vient dire toutes sortes de choses. So, I will refer him to the answer that I have given previously to Honorable Ganga Prasad.
Right.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Can the Honourable Prime Minister inform the House as to whether any Honourable members, MPs, female MPs have ever had recourse to MOCOS, CERT-MU or cybercrime, where some of them gave some information. Has there been any arrest with regard to those kind of posts online? Where matters stand with regards to that? Is there any dépôt de mesure that MPs get favourable treatment? Can the Honourable Prime Minister inform the House?
Yes, I can't recall anyone here having been arrested, but anyone is free to, of course, make a complaint if he feels that he has been subjected to any offence which has been committed by anybody.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Prime Minister did make a reference to the online safety bill, which is the subject of much debate in UK and is quite controversial. Am I to understand from what Prime Minister has said that government intends to come with legislation which is going to be more stringent, or will government carry on with existing legislation?
Mr. Speaker, sir, what I said is I mentioned in my answer what is being done in other countries like in UK. They are coming up with new legislation. That doesn't mean to say that we are going to follow exactly what others are doing. We will, of course, be inspired, drawing lessons from the problems that they are facing, from the same situation that has arisen. And of course, we will see in the future whether we can be inspired by those legislation. And government, of course, in due course will decide on this issue.
Time over. The table has been advised that PQB 1080 has been withdrawn. Honourable Budel.
B/1076, all right?
B1083.
Oh, 76. 83.
And 83.
Disqualification?
Mr. Speaker, sir, the grant formula is reviewed at regular intervals of 3 years. The last review exercise, which covered period 2020 to 2023, has been implemented since 1st November 2020 and will lapse in December 2023. Mr. Speaker, sir, accordingly, a technical working group has been set up under the chair of the Senior Chief Executive of my ministry and comprising representatives from the Ministry of Finance, Economic Planning and Development, the Office of the Public Sector Governance, the Private Secondary Education Authority, to review the grant formula in respect of the period 2024 to 2026. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Federation of Union of Managers was informed accordingly, and they have been invited to submit their proposals, which have been received by the Technical Working Group. The Technical Working Group is expected to submit its report by the end of September 2023.
The Vice Prime Minister state how many times the technical group has met?
Mr. Speaker, sir, it has been set up for some time now. I don't have this information. I'll just check if I have it and I'll let you know. So in February 2023, the Technical Working Group was set up and they have been examining it, the proposals made, I suppose, on a fortnightly basis, but I don't have the exact figure.
Thank you very much, Madam. I know you've not set the date, but when do you think the committee will submit its report?
I just mentioned September 2023.
Okay, thank you.
Next question.
B1084.
Monsieur le Président, en 2021, le gouvernement a mis en place un comité de pilotage chargé de gérer l'ensemble de l'opération relative à la cession des actifs non stratégiques identifiés, y compris les casinos sous le contrôle de la SASI, et cela avec l'appui de conseillers en transactions ayant l'expérience et l'expertise pertinente. Dans le cas des casinos de Maurice, un conseiller en transactions, KPMG Advisory Services Limited, a été désigné le 4 avril 2022. Une déclaration d'intérêt pour les soumissionnaires potentiels a été publiée au cours de la première semaine de juillet 2022. À la date de clôture, le 29 juillet 2022, 16 entités avaient manifesté leur intérêt. Par le biais d'une demande de proposition, les 16 parties suspensionnées ont été invitées à soumettre une offre indicative et 7 parties ont soumis une proposition avant la date limite du 16 septembre 2022. Sur la base des propositions reçues, le conseiller en transaction a présélectionné 4 des 7 soumissionnaires. Les 4 soumissionnaires présélectionnés ont été invités à procéder à une vérification préalable et à soumettre leur offre ferme. Chose faite le 12 décembre 2022 avec 3 parties qui ont soumis une offre ferme. En ce qui concerne la partie A de la question, le nom des soumissionnaires et leurs propositions d'offres ne peuvent pas être divulgués à ce stade pour éviter tout risque de collusion, car le processus est toujours en cours. De plus, j'ai été informé par la SASI que toutes les parties prenantes sont régies par un accord de confidentialité. Suite à l'analyse des offres reçues, j'ai été informé que les 3 soumissionnaires ont été invités par le Transaction Advisor le 12 janvier 2023 à revoir leur offre. En contrepartie, les soumissionnaires, par le biais du Transaction Advisor, ont également fait des propositions pour rendre le secteur plus attrayant. J'ai été informé par la SASI que les propositions sont actuellement à l'étude. Monsieur le Président, pour ce qui est de la partie B de la question, j'ai été informé que le gouvernement n'a pas injecté de fonds directement dans les casinos. Toutefois, il convient de rappeler qu'au cours des 3 derniers exercices financiers, les activités des casinos, comme toutes les autres entreprises du secteur de l'hôtellerie et des loisirs, ont été gravement affectées par les mesures sanitaires strictes et la fermeture des frontières liées à la pandémie de la Covid-19. À ce titre, les casinos ont bénéficié, comme toutes les autres entreprises, du programme gouvernemental de Wage Assistance Scheme comme suit: 58,8 millions de roupies pour l'exercice clos au 31 décembre 2020 et 106,7 millions de roupies pour l'exercice clos au 31 décembre 2021. Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Merci, Monsieur le Ministre. Concernant la tentative ratée du rachat des casinos par les firmes étrangères, le ministre peut-il nous indiquer à la Chambre la somme payée par la SIC à la firme KPMG?
Monsieur le Président, je n'ai pas en ma possession ce montant et je dois de toute façon demander la légalité concernant la transaction avant de soumettre. Mais s'il y a une possibilité, je le soumettrai à la Chambre.
Du fait que le gouvernement n'investit plus dans ce secteur et qui met en péril l'avenir de quelques 700 employés, le ministre peut-il nous éclaircir quelles sont les mesures prises actuellement par son ministère pour assurer l'équilibre financier des casinos afin de préserver les emplois?
Monsieur le Président, pour assurer la pérennisation de ce secteur d'activité, l'objectif pour nous est de trouver soit un repreneur, soit un partenaire stratégique, car la SASI n'a pas toutes les expertises requises pour gérer les casinos de Maurice. D'où la nécessité pour nous de travailler avec la SASI et aussi le Transaction Advisor pour trouver le meilleur partenaire pour reprendre soit complètement, soit en partie les activités des casinos, pour assurer encore une fois je vais dire la pérennisation et aussi l'emploi de ces quelques 700 employés.
B1085, please. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm informed by the RDA that the A1 road at Rosil, commonly known as Royal Road, as mentioned in the question itself, is already endowed with amenities such as pavement, drains, and handrail on both sides of the roads for safety of the pedestrian. Hence, the question of construction of pavement along Royal Road, Rosil, does not arise. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, sir, maybe the minister is not aware, he has not been there to find out the real state of the pavement along Royal Road, Rosil. It is in a very bad state.
Put your question.
So I asked the minister to find out with the municipal council of Bobassa Rosil so that you may be aware of the situation of the payment in Rosil.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I think we all read the question. This is not what is written here. Then what the honourable member is saying, this pertains to upgrading of the existing infrastructures, not construction. So let me tell him that through you, that weekly inspections are carried out by the officers of the RDA, and there's absolutely no reason that I doubt of their competencies. The status of the pavement regarding the status of the pavement along the classified road and based on resources available and scope of work, routine and periodical maintenance are carried out either by in-house or outsourced to framework contractors of our RDA. Those work include repairs of damaged slab, upgrading of existing footpath, and construction of new pavement. It is an ongoing process, not only in Rosil, but throughout the island. For instance, along A1 Road, replacement of damaged slab and other ancillary works have already started, been implemented, starting from Gamma Civic at Coromodel toward KFC at Rosil. Repair of pavements slab along the remaining stretch from KFC up to Saint-Jean is scheduled for implementation in the forthcoming weeks. So this is an ongoing process.
Mr. Speaker, sir, we asked the Honourable Minister to find out Because what I'm saying is exactly...
Put a question.
I'm putting the question.
Put a question.
You will find out that the pavement, some shop owners have put slippery tiles, some are even, some does not have any pavement at all. So we have to do it once again. It's not a question of repairs. It's a question to do it.
Put the question. You're making a statement. I can understand your situation, but this time in a parliament, it's question. Question the minister.
So,
please try.
Just try to find out in good faith, Honourable Minister, to see the state of the pavement.
No, again, no, come on. I stop you there because you have no question. Prepare your questions well. This is a time for you to put questions.
Because the minister don't even know the state of the road up there.
Okay. Next question.
B1086.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm informed by the Central Electricity Board.
Order. This is gross misconduct.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed.
Order. What is happening? It's too early. It's too early for you to go out. It's too early. Bear with us. Quiet.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed by the Central Electricity Board that the post of General Manager of the CB Fibernet Company Limited is currently vacant. Mr. V. Ramgulam, Business Development Executive, has been assigned the duties of officer in charge of the company to oversee its operation since 30th June 2021. With regards to the Board of Directors of CB Fibernet Company Limited, Mr. Amodalingam Pater is the chairperson, Mr. Rajnish Hawabai and Mr. Chavan Singh Debidin are the directors. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Monsieur le Président, le ministre peut-il nous dire, ça fait 2 ans, presque 2 ans que le CB Fibernet n'a pas de General Manager, alors que le gouvernement a investi plus de 850 millions de roupies dans cette subsidiaire du CEB. Le ministre trouve-t-il normal que le CB Fibernet n'a pas de directeur général, de General Manager en plein temps, alors que presque 1 milliard de roupies ont été investis dans cette compagnie?
Mr. Speaker, sir, in my main reply, I have stated that we have an officer in charge and he is doing the work.
Monsieur le Président, l'insolence et la légèreté du ministre concernant l'argent public est inquiétant.
Remove that word insolence or whatever you say.
Le ministre peut-il dire, depuis l'arrivée du ministre, Monsieur le Président, en tant que ministre de l'Énergie, il a démoli tout ce que son prédécesseur, l'honorable Colin avait...
You have no question. You have no question. You have no question.
850 millions.
Good question.
Est-ce que le ministre peut dire à la Chambre aujourd'hui, est-ce qu'il compte nommer un directeur général à plein temps quand 850 millions de roupies ont été investis dans cette compagnie?
Let the minister reply.
Monsieur le Président, je constate que c'est lui l'insolent en fin de compte. We will do so when the need arises, Mr. Speaker, sir.
So to avoid any honorable minister,
I withdraw, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Il n'a pas répondu.
J'ai répondu. Il aurait dû écouter.
So next question.
B1087.
Monsieur le Président, je remercie l'honorable membre pour sa question. J'ai été informé par la Horse Racing Division de la Gambling Regulatory Authority que par une lettre datée du 15 juin 2023, accompagnée d'un courriel daté du 28 juin 2023, l'organisateur des courses hippiques People's Turf PLC a notifié à la Horse Racing Division qu'il procédait à une réduction des mises d'argent avec effet immédiat. Les principales raisons invoquées dans la lettre pour justifier cette réduction sont que l'industrie des courses hippiques souffre d'un manque de revenus dû à une diminution massive des recettes des paris et à une baisse drastique des redevances respectives. Monsieur le Président, j'ai également été informé que le paiement des mises d'argent relève de la seule responsabilité de l'organisateur des courses de chevaux et que ni la Gambling Regulatory Authority Act ni les Rules of Racing de la Horse Racing Division ne prévoient de réglementer le montant des mises à payer par l'organisateur des courses de chevaux. De plus, en vertu de la règle 61 des Rules of Racing, les conditions de chaque réunion de course, y compris le montant des mises à payer par l'organisateur de courses de chevaux pour une course donnée, doivent être publiées au moins 5 jours avant le début de la réunion des courses. En conséquence, la Horse Racing Division a publié un communiqué le 3 juillet 2023 pour informer toutes les parties prenantes concernées des nouvelles mises offertes par l'organisateur de courses de chevaux. En outre, l'article 30 de la GRA Act prévoit que l'organisateur des courses de chevaux doit être une société anonyme et que conformément à la loi et à ses conditions de licence, il doit être solvable et financièrement sain pendant toute la durée de la saison des courses. Il est donc de la seule responsabilité de l'organisateur des courses de chevaux de prendre des décisions concernant le paiement du montant des mises qui garantit la solidité financière de la société. Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Mr. Speaker, it is the second time for this season that the stake money is being drastically reduced. Does the Honourable Minister find it normal that when the MTC reduced the stake money, the then GRA had requested it to revise its decision, but today, when People Turf is reducing the stake money for the second time, the horse racing division is quiet and say that it's not on my business?
Monsieur le Président, je réponds à la question en fonction des éléments qui me sont donnés. Et selon la loi, je l'ai bien dit, selon la loi, selon le GRA Act, le GRA n'a pas le droit de demander à un organisateur des courses d'augmenter ou de diminuer les mises. Donc, si cela a été fait dans le passé, je vais vérifier et je reviendrai dessus parce que je ne suis pas au courant des pressions qu'a fait GRA pour d'autres organisateurs de courses.
The stake money is the main reason why people participate in horse racing. Doesn't the Honourable Minister agree that if the stake money is reduced so low by People's Turf, then the trainers and owners will have to resort to illegal betting just to be able to have sufficient funds to maintain the horses?
Monsieur le Président, c'est une question très pertinente. C'est sûr qu'il faut trouver le juste équilibre entre les mises concernant les courses, mais aussi par rapport à la profitabilité de l'organisateur des courses. Je demanderai à l'honorable membre de me donner un peu de temps pour que je puisse regarder en profondeur ce secteur, parce qu'il y a eu beaucoup de questions qui sont venues sur ce dossier, et j'aimerais prendre un peu plus de temps pour analyser quelles sont les raisons qui poussent à la diminution des mises, et aussi de voir un peu concernant la profitabilité et les recettes pour l'organisateur des courses. Merci, Monsieur le Président.
B1088.
Mr. Speaker, sir, with your permission, let me first congratulate our para-athletes for their recent outstanding achievements at the at the 2023 Paris Para-Athletics World Championships, namely Miss Noémie Alphonse for clinching both the silver medal in the 100-meter T54 and the bronze medal in the 400 meters T54, and Giovanni Philippe, who not only set a new world championship record in the semi-final of the 400-meter T20 with a remarkable time of 47 seconds 38, but also demonstrated his exceptional skills in the final, earning a well-deserved bronze medal. Miss Noémie Alphonse, Miss Anaïs Angeline, Mr. Roberto Michel, and Mr. Giovanni Philippe are qualified for the 2024 Paris Paralympic Games. Their success not only brings pride to our nation, but also serves as an inspiration to countless others. Mr. Speaker, sir, the present government is committed to promoting excellence in sport. For the first time ever, a sum of 3.6 million rupees has been allocated in the 2023-2024 budget to provide financial assistance to 10 elite athletes who are preparing for the Paris 2024 Olympic and Paralympic Games. Thank you, Minister of Finance. These talented athletes possess immense potential, but they often face financial constraints that require them to work hard during the day before attending their training sessions. The government's aim is to provide the necessary financial assistance, ensuring that these athletes can solely focus on their training and strive for an Olympic or Paralympic podium. A technical committee has meticulously evaluated the performance and the progress margin of a list of elite athletes till 2024, resulting in the selection of 10 deserving beneficiaries, including 4 para-athletes, namely Miss Noémie Alphonse, Miss Anaïs Angeline, Mr. Roberto Michel, and Miss Brandy Perrine. 2 boxers, Mr. Richard Nocolin and Mr. Mervyn Claire, 3 judokas, Mr. Rémi Feuillet, Miss Christiane Legentil, and Miss Priscilla Morand, and 1 Mr. Noah Bibi from athletics. To further motivate these athletes and encourage them to compete at their fullest potential, they will receive a special monthly allowance of 30,000 rupees starting from the end of July 2023. This supplementary assistance complements the existing support they already receive through the High-Level Sports Assistance Scheme and the Trust Fund for Excellence in Sports. Thank you.
Merci, Monsieur le Président, et permettez-moi de moi aussi me joindre à l'honorable ministre pour féliciter nos athlètes qui ont fait briller notre quadricolore au niveau mondial. Ceci dit, dans la liste qu'a mentionné le ministre, je note que le nom de Giovanni Philippe n'y figure pas. L'honorable ministre peut-il nous dire s'il compte inclure le nom de notre recordman mondial sur la liste de ceux qui vont bénéficier de cette allocation mensuelle?
Oui, absolument, Monsieur le Président. Cette liste avait été préparée avant la compétition et Giovanni Philippe est une belle découverte. C'est un jeune de 21 ans qui nous a agréablement surpris et qui a tout le potentiel pour être médaillé olympique. Il y va de soi, Monsieur le Président, que nous allons trouver un budget additionnel pour inclure Giovanni dans cette liste.
Next question.
B 1089.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm informed by the Mauritius Sports Council, MSC, that the after-school sports and fitness program was launched in 2017 to motivate and encourage the participation of children aged 5 years to 13 years in regular physical and sports activities. With respect to part A of the question, I'm informed by the MSC that the total number of youth involved in the after-school sports and fitness program for primary schools was 20,816, 16,154, and 13,525 for the years 2021, 2022, and 2023, respectively. With regard to the after-school sports and fitness program for the secondary schools, I'm further informed by the MSc that the total number of youth who participated therein were 1,849, 2,800, and 2,017 in 2021, 2022, and 2023, respectively. As for Part B of the question, I'm informed by the MSc that 4 activities are being carried out, namely ball games, racket games, fundamental movement skills, and games and values. Within the school compound, hours from 15:30 hours to 17 hours for primary schools, and hours from 14:30 hours to 16 hours for secondary schools. Concerning Part C of the question, I'm informed by the MSc that for the year 2023, a total number of 330 coaches, including 25 for Rodrigues, have enlisted for the program. Thank you.
Peut-on savoir de l'honorable ministre à quel intervalle les entraîneurs, que ce soit en plein temps ou contractuels, reçoivent leur salaire?
Monsieur le Président, je ne saurais vous dire par rapport à leurs allocations, mais je présume que c'est comme tout le monde, c'est peut-être à la fin du mois, mais je vais vérifier.
Veuillez vérifier. Les statistiques ont démontré un pourcentage élevé d'enfants en surpoids à Maurice et le taux de diabète chez l'enfant ne fait qu'augmenter. Et dans ce contexte, est-ce que l'honorable ministre peut nous dire si ce programme intègre aussi les cours de nutrition? Parce que le sport c'est important, mais tout aussi important c'est de bien savoir s'alimenter.
Je pense qu'au niveau des cours de nutrition, comment bien manger, si je ne me trompe pas, ceci est déjà pris en charge par l'éducation nationale. Donc, je pense qu'ils ont déjà des formations à l'école. Et pour complémenter cela, le Mauritius Sports Council s'occupe des activités physiques. Donc, encourager les jeunes à pratiquer une activité physique.
Next question.
1090.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed that the State Trading Corporation started renting the liquefied petroleum gas storage facilities from Petrodic Mauritius Limited since May 2020. The rental fees paid for the period May 2020 to October 2021 was $27.50 per metric ton. I am tabling the yearly breakdown for the rental fee paid to Petrodic Mauritius Limited from May 2020 to June 2023. I am further informed, Mr. Speaker, sir, that the rental fee was increased to US $28.66 per metric ton as from November 2021, and that is due to inflation. The increase was due to inflation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I know from the Honourable Minister why from year 2002 to 2020, for 18 years, the total amount of rental paid for storage of cooking gas to ESCOL amount to 797,315,000, while for 22 onwards till date, for only 3 years, 750 million paid to Petrodic. Why such gap?
Mr. Speaker, sir, if I may be allowed to explain thoroughly. Prior to May 2020, the State Trading Corporation stored liquefied petroleum gas only in tanks owned by 2 local oil companies, namely Vivo Energy Limited and Total Mauritius Limited. And the total capacity was 5,495 metric ton only. That is the storage capacity, which when full represented only 27 days of stock under normal conditions, including some 420 metric ton for non-pumpable products. During COVID, pandemic, the production and supply of LPG in most part of the world decreased, and there was a disruption in the entire supply chain. And with the view of assuring security of supply, on 17th April 2022, a decision was taken to proceed with a negotiation for the rental of the entire storage facility owned by Petrodec Mauritius Limited, which in total is 14,420 metric tons. It is to be noted that this storage facility was the largest LPG storage capacity available in Mauritius, representing 60 days of stock when full. So after a negotiation, Petrodec agreed to rent the storage tank to STC with a capacity of 14,220 tons at the rate of $27.50 US.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honourable Minister, we are talking from January 2020 to December 2020, 30 million to 184 million for year 2022. We are talking of a 500% increase. Now, Honourable Minister, we paid 750 million for the last 3 years. Yes.
Maybe
Can I know, Honourable Minister, if you intend to see if we can buy or construct, our STC can construct our own warehouse, because the asset value of Petrodec now is 1.1 billion, and he's getting 750 million for 3 years.
You already put your question. Let the Minister reply.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir, we are envisaging, we have already enlisted the services of a consultant who is working on the project. We are looking at either buying the existing storage facility or constructing a new one.
Next question.
B1091.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed by SME Mauritius Limited that in 2020-2021, in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, a series of 5 schemes covering 35 components relating to functional areas of SMEs were devised and implemented to improve the resilience and endurance of SMEs in the face of emerging and more complex environmental dynamics. The 5 schemes were as follows: 1, the Internal Capability Development Scheme; 2, the Technology and Innovation Scheme; 3, the SME Marketing Support Scheme; 4, the Inclusiveness and Integration Scheme; and 5, the SME Utility Connection Assistance Scheme. For the financial year 2020-2021, 676 SMEs benefited from the above schemes for a total amount of 28 million rupees in grants. And further advised that during the financial year 2021-2022, the same set of schemes were made available to SMEs. 818 SMEs benefited from the schemes for a total amount of 45 million rupees in grants. During the financial year 2022-2023, taking into consideration evolving trends, SME Mauritius Limited reviewed and revamped the existing set of schemes to respond more adequately to the requirements of the SME sector. The scheme currently on offer at the SME Mauritius are as follows: 1, the Business Transformation Scheme, aimed at helping SMEs consolidate their internal capabilities, redesign their business models for improved agility, develop organizational and marketing strategies, and improve their risk management, compliance, and governance structures. 2, the Technology and Innovation Scheme, aimed at incentivizing SMEs to continuously invest in technology and automated production capabilities and adopt robotics, AI, and cloud-based specialized softwares and solutions. 3, the Market Readiness Scheme, to support SMEs in improving their market accessibility and competitiveness and respond to more stringent requirements with regards to packaging, design, and market compliance. 4, the Greening Support Scheme, to encourage SMEs to adopt renewable energy, recycling mechanism, water treatment and anti-pollution initiatives, and energy conservation solution. And 5, the agribusiness scheme to incentivize SMEs in food processing, hydroponics, aquaponics, and smart agriculture, amongst others. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed that during the financial year 2022-2023, 896 SMEs benefited from the above schemes for a total amount of 51 million rupees in grants. To summarize, over the past 3 years, 2,384 SMEs have been supported with grants of 125 million rupees through the implementation of the different schemes. It is also worth noting that these beneficiaries have a cumulative turnover of 7.9 billion rupees and provide employment to some 10,800 people. In terms of scheme distribution by SME classification and turnover range, on average, 73% of the schemes went to micro SMEs, 19% to small SMEs, and 8% to schemes provided went to medium SMEs. The 4 main sectors of activity that was supported were manufacturing with an average of 55%, services with 20%, construction 15%, and agribusiness with 10%. Mr. Speaker, sir, with regard to the eligibility criteria to benefit from grants, I'm further advised that an SME should be involved in any legal value-creating economic activity except pure trading enterprises, hold a business registration card, hold a valid trade license, relevant permits and licenses, be duly registered as an SME with the registration unit of my ministry, provide financial returns, whether with the MOA or the CBRD for the previous year, be compliant with the contribution sociale généralisée, have an annual turnover of less than 100 million rupees, and preferably have been in operation for at least 6 months. In addition, a minimum of 51% shareholding by Mauritian national is required to benefit from the schemes. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to inform the House that the value of grants depends on the turnover and number of employees of the SME. SME Mauritius Limited has a calculator on its website to help SMEs find the value of grants they could expect to receive by entering the turnover and number of employees. The total amount of grants within a specific scheme or across schemes were capped to a maximum of 200,000 rupees till 30th June 2023 and has been reviewed to 250,000 rupees as from 1st July this year. Moreover, there are also caps on specific components to prevent any abuse. Beneficiaries can reapply after a cooling off period of 9 months after the date of the last disbursement if they do not reach their maximum limit for that financial year. Spouses of or same director shareholders do not benefit twice in any financial year, even if the application are filed under different entities. It is to be noted that the ultimate decision to approve or reject any application rests on a specifically established Grant Approval Committee, GAC, whose decision is final. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am further informed that during the present financial year, namely 2023-2024, SME Mauritius will, apart from serving its main segments, put additional emphasis and resources on the support of startups and social entrepreneurship programs involving women and youth.
Speaker, can the Honourable Minister inform the House whether the scheme will be improved in future? And as we all know, SME Mauritius is doing a very good job. So whether the scheme will be improved?
Mr. Speaker, sir, the scheme which is presently operational is subject to constant monitoring and assessment. And in the light of changing circumstances, of course, it will be revamped and revisited.
Next question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. B1092, please.
Mr. Speaker, sir, Mrs. DB was offered employment as General Manager of the Mauritius Standards Bureau, MSB, on a contract basis for a period of 3 years. Mrs. DB assumed duty on 21st July 2020 and her contract of employment will expire on 20th July 2023. Party of the question does not arise, as I am informed by the Mauritius Standards Bureau that Mrs. DB informed the Standards Council on 29th June 2023 that she had been offered a contract of employment in another institution which she had already accepted, and that she would leave the Mauritius Standards Bureau at the expiry date of her present contract of employment. With regard to Part B of the question, I am informed that the Standards Council of the Mauritius Bureau has decided to fill the vacant post of director. I am further informed that the post of director has already been advertised since 1st July 2023, and the closing date for submission of application was 14th July 2023. It is expected that the Mauritius Standards Bureau would complete the recruitment process at the earliest.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May I ask the Honourable Minister whether he is aware that there has been several allegations of malpractices against Mrs. DB, and same has been reported to the ICAC, and a letter was copied to you. Are you aware of those malpractices at the Mauritius Standards Bureau against that lady?
It's enough, it's enough.
I have received numerous anonymous letters, and I also understand, I am aware that some letters have been sent to ICAC and even to the police, but up to now I have seen nothing on the basis of these letters.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Is it the case that now the Mauritius Standards Bureau will not proceed with appointment of a new general manager for the very simple reason that this post never existed as per the Act? There was only the post of director.
What is the question? What is the question?
This is what I've asked.
Put the question again.
This is what I've asked. Whether the Honourable Minister is aware that now the post of the new general manager will not be.
Is that the question?
But this is the question.
No.
Is he aware that as per the law, as per the Mauritius Standards Bureau Act, there was no post of general manager? This was created for that particular lady. Now that we are not proceeding with filling of this post and proceeding with the filling of the post of director, is he confirming to the House that this was created specifically for that lady? This is the question.
No, I'm not confirming that, but you are stating the obvious in the sense that the post of director has been advertised.
I just remind honourable member, as a matter of friendship, your first question was hypothetical. Mind well, in the standing orders, you cannot put a hypothetical. But the second question was good. And members are reminded that they have to read their standing orders. This will help you to put questions. It is your duty to put questions. It is your right to put questions. But the point is that many members do not know how to put questions. Next question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. B 1093, please.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm informed by the District Council of FLAC that the proposed construction of a mini market at Bonaccueil was earmarked in budget 2022-2023 as a project under preparation. A plot of land to the extent of 2,000 meters square has been invested into the District Council of FLAC. Presently, on the said plot of land, there is an existing synthetic mini soccer pitch, which should be relocated during the implementation of the project. On the 24th of January 2023, bids for consultancy service for the design of the market fair at Bonaccueil were launched. However, after evaluation of the bids, it was observed that the price quoted by the bidder was 39% above the cost estimate, and the Executive Committee decided not to proceed further with the bidding exercise. A request was made to the Ministry of National Infrastructure and Community Development on the 16th of May, 2023, to seek the service of a technical team to design and supervise the project. However, in a meeting on the 5th of July 2023, with the elected members of the constituency, it was proposed that the Council proceed through design and build instead of the service of a technical team. On the 12th of July 2023, I personally chaired a meeting with 4 district councils, including that of FLAC, to take stock of the progress in the implementation of the project in each district council. The decision to implement the project on design and build was approved. Presently, the design and build document are in the preparation stage at the level of the District Council of FLAC.
Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, in his reply, the Honorable Vice Prime Minister mentioned that the initial tender bidding exercise was carried out and the bidding amount was exceeded the cost estimate by about 39%. So can the Honorable Vice Prime Minister inform the House who actually does the cost estimate at the District Council of FLAC level, please?
She is the engineer at the District Council of FLAC.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, again. So can the Honorable Vice Prime Minister inform the House if is it not a high time for the district councils to have a quantity surveyor for the cost estimates so that we avoid this type of variances between the cost estimates and the actual cost? Thank you.
I agree with the honourable member. I agree with the honourable member, but there is shortage of QS on the market, and we have 12 council. If I have to take 12 QS, it won't be that easy to fill this space.
Next question.
B1094.
Mr. Speaker, sir, on 9th September 2022, government decided to provide an additional subsidy of 9 cents per scheduled bread of 100 grams in order to compensate bakeries for the increase in cost of production and maintain the current prices of scheduled bread. The financial initiative is effective as from 1st of October 2022, and the Mauritius Revenue Authority has been entrusted with the responsibility to effect payment of the subsidy on a monthly basis accordingly. I'm informed by the MRA that 18,015,901 rupees has been paid to bakeries producing scheduled bread from period October 2022 to June 2023. Mr. Speaker, sir, as regard to the eligibility criteria, bakeries are required to register with the STC, and the following documents have to be submitted. First, an application letter from owner of the bakery along with a copy of his or her national identity card and a location plan of the bakery. And secondly, the baker declaration form signed by the owner of the bakery with basically the following information: details of monthly production of scheduled bread and business registration number, including business registration certificate mentioning manufacture of bread.
Finish?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, can the Minister inform the House about the procedure that has been put in place for the payment of this subsidy to bakers?
Well, Mr. Speaker, sir, my ministry has provided the Mauritius Revenue Authority with a list of bakeries registered with the STC, as well as the expected monthly production of each type of scheduled bread by each bakery. And that is based on a survey done in May 2022. So eligible bakeries are required to submit manually and to the Mauritius Revenue Authority monthly return declaring the monthly production of each scheduled bread. I have information. The Mauritius Revenue Authority then proceeds with the payment of each type of scheduled bread based on either the number of scheduled bread declared in the monthly return based on the survey done, whichever is lower, and multiply by 9 cents for each 100 grams of scheduled bread.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, I'm informed that some bakers, they purchase flour directly from the STC, whereas some they purchase through approved distributors of the STC. Can the Minister inform the House whether both of these bakers will benefit from this subsidy?
Well, I am informed that the bakers who buy flour from STC, they purchase it at 108 rupees 50 cents, whereas wholesalers and distributors who purchase from directly from STC, they purchase at a price of 217 rupees 50 cents. So obviously those distributors, they will be getting less subsidy compared to direct buying from STC.
B 1095.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm informed by the MAZA that the MAZA Artist Solidarity Scheme was launched in 2010 and its objective was to provide a monthly allowance to members of MAZA having reached the age of 60. MAZA has stated that in respect of copyright fees collected, it retains 30% of the royalties to meet its administrative costs, and 7% is transferred to the MAZA Provident and Benevolent Fund. This fund caters for the MAZA Artist Solidarity Scheme and other purposes such as medical schemes, death grants, costs for the annual General Assembly and the elections. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm informed by MAZA that the monthly payment made to beneficiaries having reached the age of 60 has indeed been stopped, and the last payment was effected in June 2023. As to the reasons thereof, I wish to inform the House that, still according to MAZA, in the year 2010, when the MAZA Artist Solidarity Scheme was launched, no actuarial exercise was carried out to determine the capacity to pay of MAZA. Such exercise was of utmost importance to foresee and ensure that financial stability, sustainability, as well as the feasibility of the fund over the ensuing years. Consequently, the funds of the MAZA Provident and Benevolent Fund has considerably depleted over the years, leading to a decreasing sustainability of the fund. Moreover, taking into consideration the financial projections for new beneficiaries, that is, new full-fledged members reaching the age of 60, and the payments which will have to be made, the financial viability of the fund could no longer be sustained. Thus, payments could no longer be effected. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm informed by MAZA that a market survey was carried out with a view to securing a costing for professional services from insurance companies for a fully sustainable pension plan. Actually, one proposal from the NIC has been received, which is under consideration by MAZA. I wish to inform the House that all necessary actions are being taken by MAZA to provide the best options for treatment to our artists. However, many discrepancies and inconsistencies are still to be corrected, and in this optic, a restructuring exercise of the MAZA has been initiated. The tender procedure is under process.
Monsieur le Président, dans sa réponse, le ministre a indiqué que 7% des royalties sont transférées au Provident and Benevolent Fund de la MAZA, et c'est de ce fonds qu'est puisé l'argent pour la pension des artistes. Puis-je demander au ministre, car il ne l'a pas clairement dit, de ces 7% de royalties et 7% de 50 millions de roupies, c'est 3,5 millions de roupies, alors que la pension des artistes est moins d'1 million de roupies par an. De ces 7%, quelle est la part qui alimente la MAZA Artist Solidarity Scheme?
I think I didn't get the question properly, but I'll try still to reply. You mentioned about 50 million rupees. Because, Mr. Speaker, sir, the 30%, I mentioned two rates. 30% of royalties being redirected for administrative costs, and that 30% is out of the royalties collected, copyright fees collected. So it's not grant being allocated by the government to MAZA. And the 7%, again, out of royalties, out of copyright fees collected from users of work. So there is no fixed 50 million rupees fund. It depends on the rate of collection. It depends on how pressing MAZA has been over the financial year to get money in from users of work. So it varies. But the 7% comes out of all the fees collected over the financial year, and that is directed to the MAZA Provident and Benevolent Fund. So out of that 7% goes out to the fund, and part of it is earmarked for the Maza Artists Solidarity Scheme.
And precisely my question was, out of those 7%, what amount is earmarked to supply the Artist Solidarity Scheme? That was my question, actually.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I don't have the exact figures, but as I mentioned, the Maza Provident and Benevolent Fund caters for the Solidarity Scheme, the pension, medical schemes, death grants, costs for annual General Assembly and elections. But of course, I'll be very happy to table le décompte des allocations et where the money is being redirected in that fund.
Honourable members, I will suspend the sitting for 1.5 hours.